Welcome to the 24th annual Bloor West Village Toronto Ukrainian Festival, and here we are on Bloor Street and there's no festival. It's a little bit different this year. Yurko, what are we doing?
Well, first of all, Marta, welcome, and everybody welcome to our virtual Bloor West Village Ukrainian Festival. Marta, thank you for agreeing to host this, and it's people like you that make it all work. We continue to be grateful to both levels of government, federal and provincial, for financial support in a granting system. We're very grateful to be to all of our sponsors, some of them which are right behind us, Ukrainian Credit Union and the Temerte Family Foundation, both who have been with us since day one. But most importantly, people like you that are on the stage, performers that perform and dance, sing, as well as all the other volunteers that we have. We're all grateful to them, especially in the planning of this festival, which has had many changes, including Ontario Place, the virtual performances and live performances that were scheduled for there, including the first ever drive-in situation that we had all set up for the viewing of Mr. Jones and Target number 1. And then all of a sudden, it all changed and now we're to virtual.
But speaking about the program that normally happens, Pani Olya Chulkan is one of the people who, glues everything together, and she actually put together this virtual performances together as well. And she did it in sort of a thematic way. This theme that we're looking at in this particular segment of the virtual show is about HUTZUL.
Yes, this is the beautiful thing about Pani Olya Chulkan. She's managed to put together 4 brilliant themes. And as you say, this one is HUTZUL. The one that you may have seen just before this is a COVID-related one. But as you all know, HUTZUL is a wonderful region of Ukraine with very vibrant and colorful people living there. So the program is very delightful, and we wish you that you enjoy it.
Now, one more important thing. Every year we honor, the Bloor West Village honors one person or a group of people like they are this year. Who are we honoring this year? Who are we thanking?
Yeah, Marta, thank you very much for bringing this up. Every year it's a one individual person that's Ukrainian, Canadian, Ukrainian background that is known in the broader Ukrainian and Canadian community. This year, COVID has brought to us new leaders, new heroes. And who we're speaking about are the frontline workers that work in our seniors' homes across Canada. And we are honoring them and thanking them and naming them the parade marshals of our festival this year. Collectively, all of them across Canada. We are going to show an honor, and in the name of all of them are going to be represented the frontline workers that work here in Toronto. However, they represent all of them in Canada. We're very grateful to all the frontline workers in our seniors' homes that take care of our most important people, most vulnerable people in a very beautiful and warm way.
So again, we thank our frontline workers. We thank everybody who made this possible. Yuri, don't forget yourself, because I know that you've been going crazy with all these changes. So we appreciate you being on top of that as well. And we hope that you enjoy the program that we've put together for you.
Дорогі друзі, dear friends, on behalf of the Ukrainian Canadian Congress and our member organizations, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the 2020 Toronto Ukrainian Festival. Вітаємо! For 24 years, the festival has brought Ukrainian culture to Canada's largest city. We have had the opportunity to share our wonderful traditions with the hundreds of thousands of people who attend each year. This year, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the festival's program has had to be modified. But thanks to the creativity, imagination, and inventiveness of the festival's many organizers and volunteers, we can still enjoy this year's celebrations. Хочу скористатися нагодою подякувати тим, яких ми сьогодні відзначаємо. Нашим медикам, медсестрам, вчителям та всім тим, які надають первинну допомогу членам нашої громади та всім канадцям. Дякуємо вам. a heartfelt thank you to the frontline workers who are being honored today. It is appropriate today to pay tribute to a great Canadian, the Right Honourable John Turner, Prime Minister of Canada, who passed away recently. Mr. Turner led Canada's election observation mission to Ukraine in 2004 during the Orange Revolution. He remained a steadfast friend of Ukraine and the Ukrainian people. In 2005, Mr. Turner served as the parade marshal of this festival. I would also like to thank Yuri Klufas for his vision and unflagging energy, as well as the hundreds of volunteers who have worked over the years to bring us this unique celebration of Ukrainians in Canada. Please enjoy the 2020 Toronto Ukrainian Festival. We hope to see you in person in the Bloor West Village when we are able to gather safely. Slava Kanadi, Slava Україні!
Шановні пані і панове, діти, молодь, студенти, спостерігачі та гості із всіх частин Канади, США та з України, вітаємо вас на 9-му в черзі українському фестивалі в Торонто. Вітаємо вас всіх!
It is with great sadness and respect that we recognize Prime Minister John Turner and his time spent with us on our festival stage as the leader of the Canadian Election Observer Mission in Ukraine and our festival parade marshal in 2005.
The Honourable John Turner.
2 days ago in Winnipeg, I had the honor of presenting the final report of our delegation to Ukraine to our Prime Minister Paul Martin in Winnipeg, at the offices, and would our president raise her hand again, at the offices of the Ukrainian Canadian Congress in Winnipeg to our new president. And so it was a very historic occasion for Canada and for Manitoba and for Ukraine. Canada had by far the largest delegation in Kiev and across Ukraine of any country in the world. 1,000 out of 8,300. When I got my final report from our delegates, came back from all over Ukraine, we reported to the Prime Minister and to the Ukrainian people that we thought it was a 95% winner, few technical problems here and there, but basically a tremendous adventure and expression of democracy. It was the greatest demonstration of democracy in the history of the world.
Each year, festival officials select a prominent Canadian of Ukrainian origin, whom we then designate as our festival parade marshal for the year. So in this unique 2020 year, in our 24th year of the festival, we are very pleased to designate our tireless frontline workers in Toronto and across Canada as our honorary parade marshals for the consistent and dedicated help they have selflessly provided to our Ukrainian seniors.
Вітаємо! 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 Ми всі вітаємо учасників 24-го українського віртуального фестивалю і дякуємо за велику честь, яку нам надали в відкритті цього фестивалю.
Вітаємо в імені Дому сеньорів Святих Петра і Павла в Скарборо. Віртуально вітаємо 24-ту річницю фестивалю Bloor West Village Festival. Вітаємо вас і також дякуємо нашим працівникам, які затримали охорону наших сеньорів.
Вітаємо всіх на 24-й річниці відкриття українського фестивалю на Блорі. Дякую вам, що дали нам нагоду відкрити цей фестиваль.
І тепер вирішальний момент. Раз, два, три. Тепер вирішальний момент. Раз, два, три.
24-й український фестиваль Bloor West Village оголошуємо відкритим.
Ukrainian Credit Union Limited is there for many big life moments. When you opened your first account, when you completed your matura, when you bought your first home. With hundreds of thousands of dollars in donations invested into cultural, educational, religious, and other local programs annually, Ukrainian Credit Union is truly building our community. With modern banking services just like the banks, you can feel proud when you bank with UCU.
Please enjoy a dance from the Hutsul region of Ukraine recorded at the 55th anniversary concert of the Yavir School of Ukrainian Dance in Toronto. The Yavir School gratefully acknowledges the support of the community of St. Demetrius Ukrainian Catholic Church. The following 7-minute virtual tour of a HUTZUL wedding in Ukraine is presented by Cobblestone Freeway Tours.
Today we're in the Carpathian Mountains, and it's actually been a very misty, rainy, humid day. And I feel like it's been a blessing. This feeling of the Carpathian Mountains and the region and the area is just, it's overwhelming.
We're in this beautiful school celebrating and having a wedding feast, and it's just so special. Truly, truly special.
During our feast today, we had some traditional foods and drinks. One actually to be that comes to mind is the golden root, and it's actually a root that is picked at a certain elevation in the Carpathian, and then they marinate it in vodka, and it's
delicious.
Delicious. It is so good.
And golden root. Zolotay kori. It's an ancient HUTZUL mobile telephone.
And we were also greeted with much singing and fanfare of music, which was delightful. And we also had the opportunity to dance a little bit, to celebrate their preparations.
У нас сьогодні буде дуже чудове гуцульське весілля, Шена and Brian.
Today's HUTZUL wedding was maybe a little bit planned as Brian and I celebrate our 10-year anniversary. I might have asked and inquired about doing something special and surprised him with a vow renewal while we were here.
As well as learn the process for dressing the bride and groom in the traditional HUTZUL custom, the braiding of the young woman's hair into the many decorative pieces, and her special head coverings to help her celebrate her new married life. And we also looked at the lovely blouses and embroidered shirts.
It was absolutely beautiful. People dressing the bride, traditional vests on, made of goat and sheep wool. Just absolutely amazing.
We went to the church here to celebrate and get our wedding vows renewed at the church here.
Cars drove by and everybody waved, and they were so happy to be able to help us celebrate this HUTZUL wedding. And then we were so surprised when we arrived at the church. The priest asked who was representing the bridegroom and the bride. And once he discovered that indeed the couple was actually married and had been married for a long time, he said, "Oh, just a minute, let me get a different book," and asked them if they would like to renew their wedding vows. So we were so pleased to be a part of that.
We got to watch them break the bread, and they got to peek through and see their future. And then afterwards they broke it, and we got to share the bread with us here today. And it's just amazing.
So happy for them. It was such a great experience to be able to be here in Ukraine with my dance group, get to meet other groups, get to see the culture as raw as it is out here, and it really feels like a great impact on myself, and I'm gonna take this experience with me right back to Canada and share with everyone I know.
And now we get to go have a party. And I was so happy to be able to take part in this, and all of us were.
And we've eaten and drank a lot.
A lot.
A lot.
As you can tell, we're Ukrainian dancers from Canada, but we're sweating, and the dancers from here are not. They're very experienced, very trained in their culture and their dance, and they taught us for sure.
We ate lots of good food and we took lots of good shots, and we're here learning about the other dances from the HUTZUL region here, and we'll get to dance all together and share our culture together, which will be super fun.
Very nice for me to come for my first time with my wife and my family. My family is from Ukraine, and my grandfathers and grandmothers, so it's very nice to come here to experience what they would have lived like before, and get to know the people, the dancing, the culture, the lifestyle, because we don't have that at home the way it is here in Ukraine.
Будьмо йо! Будьмо йо! Будьмо, будьмо йо! А тепер голос!
Just so you know, yo, what does yo mean in HUTZUL dialect is tak. Tak means yes. In HUTZUL they say, would you like one? Yo.
Yo! Yo with yes!
We just finished a wonderful afternoon in the village of Bukovats here in Hutsulshchina. We had guests from all across Canada and around the world have come over to this village over the years, and it was such a touching moment at the end of the day when the locals thanked us for supporting HUTZUL culture, which is of course a small culture, but a beautiful and rich culture. And they asked us to tell the world about them, that the world doesn't forget about them, that we share the traditions and keep them alive in Canada and around the world. And the Canadians in turn were very excited and grateful to visit the land of their ancestors, to see where their grandparents lived.
Carissa Klopoushak has made a name for herself as a curious, creative, and versatile musician. Based in Ottawa, she's a proud member of Canada's National Arts Centre Orchestra and the Ironwood Quartet. A laureate of the 2018 Canada Council for the Arts Instrument Band Competition, Carissa performs on the beautiful Magini model 1851 Jean-Baptiste Vuillaume violin. She has recently been named interim artistic director of Ottawa Chamberfest, starting in the position in mid-August 2020. On the following video, Carissa Klopoushak on violin, Alexandra Sura on cymbale, and Tybalt Bertin Magit on bass play a traditional Carpathian rhapsody. Born in Cherkasy region in 1988, Ruslana Lotsman is an honored artist of Ukraine, a Ukrainian folk pop singer, author of her own songs, a community activist, the director of the Folk Philharmonia, as well as a laureate of international vocal competitions and festivals in Ukraine, Estonia, Poland, Russia, France, Germany, and the US. She has recorded multiple music albums. Please enjoy this medley of songs from the Carpathian Highlands of Ukraine. Korinya, which means roots in Ukrainian, started out as a family band initiated by the Shepko-Hamilton family in 2003. Today, Korinya is a flourishing musical band from the Ukrainian diaspora that has been performing in the US and Canada since 2005. Korinya has performed several times in Ukraine and in 2012 earned the title of National Artists of Ukraine by winning first place at the Boyko Festival. In 2016, they released their studio recording Zemlya on Spotify, Apple Music, and other platforms, and since have reached almost 10,000 listeners from around the world. Members include Alina Kuzma, Sana Shepto, Zoya Shepto, and Nick Hladio.
Маріченько дана, обширiri, Маріченько дана, пустиш мене до стодоли, обширiri, де ти ночувала, пустиш мене до стодоли, обширiri, де ти ночувала. Хоп-ши-ди-ди-ди, мамка ключі взяла, хоп-ши-ди-ди-ди, мамка ключі взяла, та й від тої стодолоньки, хоп-ши-ди-ди-ди, де я ночувала, та й від тої стодолоньки, хоп-ши-ди-ди-ди, де я ночувала. Лісом, лісом при долині, зозуленька коканині, гей-я, гой, лелія, любування, то велика пасея. Гей-я, гой, лелія, любування, то велика пасея. Ми зозулі не слухали, ми сміття любували. Гей-я, гой, лелія, любування, то велика пасея. Гей-я, гой, лелія, любування, то велика пасея. Хоп-шиди, не вірю, не вірю. Хоп-шиди, не вірю, не вірю. Ночували два легіні, хоп-шиди, на твоїм подвір'ю. Ночували два легіні, хоп-шиди, на твоїм подвір'ю. Хоп-шиди-ди-ди, Марішко, боюся. Хоп-шиди, Марішко, боюся. Поза тою Марішкою, хоп-шиди, всі легіні б'ються. Поза тою Марішкою, хоп-шиди, всі легіні б'ються. Лісом, лісом, за горами, подмимила за грибами. Гей-я, гой, лелія, любування, то велика пасея. Гей-я, гой, лелія, любування, то велика пасея.
The Harmonia band from the USA presents the traditional folk music of Eastern Europe, ranging from the Danube to the Carpathians. Its repertoire reflects the cultures of this region: Hungarian, Slovak, Ukrainian, Romanian, Croatian, and Gypsy. Performing in authentic folk instruments and styled after turn-of-the-century Eastern European Gypsy bands, their music is drawn from both the urban and rural traditions of Eastern Europe. The following video features their performance of Ukrainian music from the Carpathian region.
I heard East European music as far back as I can remember, and probably heard it even before that. I grew up really surrounded with the music of my parents. My mom was of Hungarian descent, my father was Croatian. Certainly the first song I ever remember learning was a Croatian song. I remember hearing old 78 recordings of Hungarian gypsy bands and being taken to picnics, and also including being taken down to Buckeye Road, where they would have the grape harvest festivals in the old Buckeye Road neighborhood. So I had an interest from the word go.
I would always see bands playing traditional music. Would be a trio of musicians. Would be a violinist, flute player, cymbal player. In Ukraine, that's the instrument that I play, and buben, which is a drum with a cymbal on top. And I really became fascinated.
Singing. Right after university, I joined the professional ensemble, Pools, and also amateur ensemble Sharishan. And we were touring all over, actually the world, and the last tour was in the United States.
Ой, нема то краю на ту верховину, якби мені погуляти хоч одну годину. Ой, нема то краю на ту верховину, якби мені погуляти хоч одну годину. Ой, нема то краю на ту верховину, якби мені погуляти хоч одну годину.
In some ways, this is a very American group. Harmonia's members come from various East European countries and backgrounds, and from different generations. Their traditions seem very distinct from each other's up close, but here in the US, they have been able to step back and see what their traditions have in common and to build on that.
Two instruments were part of my life, sopilka and classical music, folk music. And, I listened to folk music all the time in Ukraine growing up, on the radio, different folk festivals on the streets in the villages, and I really loved dance tunes and folk songs.
musicians, bands, folk bands in eastern parts of Slovakia, in the city where I studied at the university, and there were a lot of gypsy bands and other Slovak folk cymbalom bands. So pretty much everybody who I met, I observed.
The group constantly plays for their immigrant communities. This is the source, the wellspring of their music. Harmonia draws on this and creatively refines it to bring the music and the spirit of these traditions to a wider audience.
I collected a lot of records that had Hungarian gypsy fiddlers. Also in New York City, I collected a lot of records as well. Listened to them, I wrote transcriptions, and it just kind of developed and snowballed from there.
The Dovbush dancers take their name from Olexa Dovbush, the folk hero born in 1700 in the Carpathian Mountains. This young and vibrant group embraces the significant place that song and dance hold in Ukrainian tradition, performing dances from many regions of Ukraine. The group operates under the auspices of the Association of United Ukrainian Canadians, which has been an integral part of the Ukrainian community in Vancouver for over 90 years. Please enjoy the Dovbush dancers performing a HUTZUL dance. Kaska Dance Collective is a Winnipeg-based studio offering classes in Ukrainian dance, ballet, Pilates, and jazz. In the following video, Carissa Klopoushak, the director of the Sopilka Ukrainian Dance School and herself a graduate of the Royal Winnipeg Ballet's teacher program and licensed teacher with the Kacheti Society of Canada and Kacheti International Classical Ballet, teaches a young group of girls how to perform Bukovinian steps.
Hello everyone and welcome to Kaska Dance Collective in Winnipeg, Manitoba. My name's Christina Frickas. I'm the director here at Sopilka Ukrainian Dance School, and here are some of my lovely students from Sopilka. So we are going to teach you some basic steps from the Bukovina region. So I want us to start with our toes facing a little bit on an angle. Our hands are on our kiptad. We're going to step on our right leg, and we're going to do chovhanets 2 times. So we're going to go out, in, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, out, in, Now face the front and go the other way. Out, in, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, out, in, Now face the front and 2 stamps. Good? Okay, now we're going to do, listen to me first. Step behind and pigeon toe, step behind and pigeon toe. 1, 2, 3, knock, 1, 2, 3, knock, ista, ta. Right and left. Here we go. 5, 6, 7, and step behind and pigeon toe, step behind and pigeon toe. 1, 2, 3. Other way. Good girls. Down and up, step behind and down and up. 1, 2, 3. Oh, can we do that last one? 1, 2, 3, knock, 1, 2, 3. We were a little off. Ready? 5, 6, 7, we go. That was better. Okay, and our last part, yes, last part. 4 pitskok facing the front. 1, 2, 3, 4. Face the back, face the front. Hop, knock, hop, stamp, stamp. Okay, so only 1 turn. And then hop, knock, hop, knock. Now let's try it on the left. 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we face the back and the front. Okay? Can we try with music? Ready? Chovanets. Out, in, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now go the other way. Step behind and pigeon toe. 1, 2, 3. Go the other way. Ready, feet skok goes once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Face the back, face the front. Left leg. Face the back, face the front.
Darka Dusty is a lifelong musician and singer now living in Portland, Oregon. Many of you will remember her as being part of the very popular duo Darka and Slavko. A powerful and versatile vocalist, Darka likes genre hop from blues to jazz to country, as well as celebrate big voice, primitive village and mountain music stemming from her deep Ukrainian roots. On one of the hottest days this summer, Darka performs with her band, the Borscht Beatniks, which includes Darka's husband, Miri Stevbivka, her sister, Natalia Burgess, and friends Bernardo Gomez, Brian Stowe, and Andriy Alkhanov, the world-class musicians in their own right. Enjoy her music and their dogs.
Leave очі крізь, в руках топір, гуляє легінь собою. Черемоше, черемоше, бистра твоя мода, дівчинонька з верховини, файна твоя мода. Черемоше, черемоше, бистра твоя мода, дівчинонька з верховини, файна твоя мода, дівчинонька з верховини, файна твоя мода.
The Euphoria band is an Edmonton-based fusion of Ukrainian pop, rock, and traditional music performed in a contemporary Canadian style. As one of the youngest Ukrainian-Canadian bands to reach a 10-year milestone, the anniversary came with the launch of Euphoria's much-anticipated debut album, Euphoria X. Euphoria has entertained audiences at Zabavas and weddings throughout the prairies. Please enjoy a video of the performance at the 2018 Toronto Ukrainian Festival. The Koopa Sonics, Newfoundland's finest Ukrainian band, combine expert musicianship, quirky humor, a dizzying array of exotic traditional instruments, and an eclectic high-energy stage show that appeals to all tastes. With 5 CDs under their belts, they've taken Ukrainian music to places it's never been before, with performances across Canada, Europe, and the Caribbean, and even on Hockey Night in Canada. They have also toured Eastern Europe, entertaining audiences in Ukraine, Poland, Slovakia, and Romania. Please enjoy a HUTZUL song by the Kubasonics when they performed at the 2017 Toronto Ukrainian Festival. Iskra Ukrainian Dance Ensemble, based in New Jersey, was founded in 2011 as an outreach of the Iskra Ukrainian Dance Academy, one of the late Roma Prima Bohochevsky schools. Under the artistic direction of Andriy Tsebek, Iskra represents many regions of Ukraine, highlighting the colorful indigenous costumes, the individual musical styles, and of course, the particular dance movements found in each one. The Iskra Ensemble performs at numerous Ukrainian and international events in the New York, New Jersey area. Please enjoy Iskra's Rhapsody dance as performed at the 2019 Ukrainian Festival in New Jersey with violinist Inessa Timochko Dehailo.